Yo, what's up everybody? It's Trevor Noah here to talk about something real deep freedom. Now that word gets thrown around a lot, but bear with him. We're diving into two powerful stories, Born a Crime, Trevor's own story, and Persepolis by Marjane Satrapi. Both of these books are about growing up under oppressive systems. For Trevor, it was apartheid in South Africa. For Marjane, it was the Islamic Revolution in Iran. Totally different worlds, right? But here's the thing, the yearning for freedom, that's universal. It's like that feeling you get when someone tells you can't do something. You just want to do it more, right? That's what oppression does. It tries to box you in, tell you what to think, how to act. But these books, they're all about breaking out of those boxes. They show how people resist, how they find their voices even when the world is trying to silence them. And trust me, it's some powerful stuff, so buckle up because we're about to take a trip through the struggles, the laughter, and the unbreakable spirit of those who dare to fight for their freedom. Let's start with Trevor's story, Born a Crime. Growing up in South Africa during apartheid was no joke. Imagine living in a world where your very existence is considered illegal. Trevor's mother, a black woman, and his father, a white man, defied the laws of the time just by being together. Trevor was literally born a crime. The government tried to control every aspect of their lives, from where they could live to who they could associate with. But Trevor's mom? She was a rebel. She taught him to question everything, to never accept the status quo. She showed him that even in the darkest times, there's always a way to find light. Now let's switch gears and talk about Marjane Satrapi's Persepolis. Marjane's story is set in Iran during the Islamic Revolution. Just like Trevor, she grew up in a world where the government tried to control every aspect of her life. But Marjane, she was a firecracker. From a young age, she questioned the rules, the restrictions, the oppression. Her story is a powerful reminder that even in the face of overwhelming odds, the human spirit is resilient. She used her voice, her art, to fight back, to resist. Both of their stories, though set in different parts of the world, share a common thread. They're about the fight for freedom, the struggle to be heard, to be seen. They're about the power of resistance, the strength of the human spirit, and most importantly, they're about hope. Hope that one day things will change. Hope that one day we'll all be free. When you read these books, you're not just reading about their lives. You're reading about the lives of countless others who have faced similar struggles. You're reading about the children who grew up in oppressive environments, the young people who dared to dream of a better future. You're reading about the resilience of the human spirit, the unbreakable will to survive, to thrive. In South Africa, apartheid was a brutal system of racial segregation. It was designed to keep people of different races apart, to maintain white supremacy. But despite the harsh laws, the violence, the oppression, people found ways to resist. They organized protests, they fought back, they refused to be silenced, and in the end, they won. Apartheid was dismantled, and South Africa began the long journey towards healing and reconciliation. In Iran, the Islamic Revolution brought about a different kind of oppression. The new regime imposed strict religious laws curtailing freedoms, especially for women. But just like in South Africa, the people of Iran found ways to resist. They held secret gatherings, they used art and literature to express their dissent. They fought for their rights. And while the struggle continues, their spirit remains unbroken. The yearning for freedom is a powerful force. It's what drives people to stand up against oppression, to fight for their rights, to demand justice. It's a universal feeling, one that transcends borders, cultures, and languages. It's the cry of the human spirit, the desire to be free, to live without fear, without restrictions. Think about it. Have you ever been told you can't do something? That you can't achieve your dreams? That you can't be who you want to be? It's frustrating, right? It makes you want to prove them wrong, to show the world that you can. That's the power of resistance. It's the fire that burns within us, the drive to break free from the chains that bind us. Oppression tries to put us in a box, to limit our potential, to control our thoughts and actions. But the human spirit is not so easily contained. We resist, we fight back, we find ways to break free. We use our voices, our art, our stories to challenge the status quo, to demand change. These stories, Born a Crime and Persepolis, are powerful examples of that resistance. They show us that even in the darkest times, there is always hope. They remind us that we are not alone in our struggles, that others have faced similar challenges and have found ways to overcome them. These books are about breaking free from the boxes that society tries to put us in. They're about finding our voices, our strength, our courage. They're about the power of the human spirit, the unbreakable will to be free. They show us that resistance is not futile, that our voices matter, that our actions can make a difference. They inspire us to stand up, to speak out, to fight for our rights. They remind us that we have the power to change the world. And trust me, it's some powerful stuff. When you read these books, you can't help but be moved, to feel the emotions, the struggles, the triumphs of the characters. You see yourself in their stories, you feel their pain, their joy, their hope. So buckle up, because we're about to take a trip through the struggles, the laughter, and the unbreakable spirit of those who dare to fight for their freedom. We're about to explore the power of resistance, the strength of the human spirit, and the universal yearning for freedom. It's going to be an incredible journey, one that will inspire you, move you, and remind you of the power of hope. Now you might be thinking, Trevor, you're talking about apartheid and revolutions. Where's the funny? Well, let me tell you, humor is not just about making people laugh. It's a survival mechanism, a way to cope with the harsh realities of life. When you're faced with oppression, discrimination, and systemic injustice, sometimes the only thing you can do is laugh. It's a way to keep your spirit alive, to show that you won't be broken by the absurdity of it all. And that's the thing, my friends. Sometimes, laughter is the most powerful weapon you got. It's a way to connect with others, to build a sense of community and solidarity. When you laugh together, you create a bond that can't be easily broken. It's a way to show that you're not alone, that you're in this together. It's like this invisible shield against the absurdity of it all. When you can find humor in the darkest of times, it gives you a sense of control, a way to push back against the forces that are trying to bring you down. It's a way to say, I see you, I understand you, but you won't defeat me. In Born a Crime, Trevor Noah uses humor to deal with the craziness of growing up mixed race in apartheid South Africa. It was a time when the laws were so ridiculous, you had to laugh to keep from crying. His very existence was considered a crime, and yet, here he is, telling his story with a smile on his face. Like, seriously, the laws were so messed up you couldn't make it up. They were designed to keep people apart, to create divisions and sow discord. But humor has a way of cutting through all that nonsense, of bringing people together in a shared understanding of just how absurd it all is. So you laugh, because what else can you do? It's a way to reclaim your humanity, to show that you won't be defined by the limitations others try to impose on you. It's a way to rise above the pettiness and cruelty, to find joy in the midst of suffering. But it's not just about getting a chuckle, it's about using humor as a tool for resistance, a way to challenge the status quo and expose the flaws in the system. When you can make people laugh at the absurdity of the rules and regulations, you start to undermine their power. It's about exposing the hypocrisy, the stupidity, the sheer ridiculousness of the system. Humor has a way of shining a light on the things that people would rather keep hidden. It forces you to confront the truth, to see things as they really are. Marjane Satrapi does something similar in Persepolis, but her humor is darker, sharper. She uses it to navigate the complexities of life in post-revolutionary Iran, to deal with the contradictions and challenges of growing up in a society that is constantly changing. It's the kind of humor that comes from living through some heavy stuff. It's not always easy to find the funny in such situations, but when you do, it can be incredibly powerful. It can be a way to process trauma, to make sense of the senseless. She uses satire to criticize the regime, the hypocrisy, the loss of freedom. Her work is a testament to the power of humor to challenge authority, to speak truth to power. It's a way to resist, to push back against the forces that seek to control and oppress. And it hits you hard, man. When you see the truth laid bare in such a way, it forces you to think, to question, to reevaluate your own beliefs and assumptions. It's a wake-up call, a reminder that things are not always as they seem. It makes you think, makes you question. It challenges you to look beyond the surface, to dig deeper and understand the underlying issues. It's a way to spark conversation, to get people talking about the things that matter. See, humor, it's a way of reclaiming your power. When you can laugh at something, it loses its hold over you. It becomes less intimidating, less overwhelming. It's a way to take back control, to show that you won't be defeated by the challenges you face. When you can laugh at something, it loses its hold over you. It's like saying, you can try to control me, but you can't take away my ability to see the absurdity of it all. It's a way to assert your independence, to show that you won't be defined by the limitations others try to impose on you. It's like saying, you can try to control me, but you can't take away my ability to see the absurdity of it all. It's a way to assert your independence, to show that you won't be defined by the limitations others try to impose on you. So, the next time you find yourself in a tough situation, remember the power of humor. It might just be the thing that gets you through. Growing up under apartheid, language was my playground and my weapon. I was this little chameleon, blending in, code switching, using language to navigate the madness. I spoke Zulu, Xhosa, Afrikaans, English, you name it, I could roll with it. Each language was like a different mask, a way to fit in, to survive. But language was more than just a survival tool. It was a way to connect with people, to bridge the divides that apartheid tried so hard to create. I could talk to the kids in the townships, the rich kids in the suburbs, everyone in between. Language was my superpower, man. And in Born a Crime, I used language to paint a picture of what it was like to grow up in that crazy time. The slang, the accents, the different ways of speaking. It all comes together to create this vivid tapestry of South African life. It's funny, it's heartbreaking, it's real. In contrast, Persepolis by Marjane Satrapi uses visual storytelling to navigate the complexities of growing up during the Iranian Revolution. While I used language to adapt and survive, Marjane used her art to express her thoughts and emotions. Both stories highlight the struggle for freedom, the freedom to speak, to think, and to act. In Born a Crime, the freedom to speak was a way to navigate and survive apartheid's maze. In Persepolis, the freedom to think and express through art was Marjane's way of rebelling against oppression. Both stories show that despite the different contexts, the fight for freedom is universal. And, in the end, it's about finding your voice and using it to make a difference. Whether through words or art, the message is clear: the human spirit is unbreakable. Now Marjane, she's a visual storyteller. From a young age, she found solace and strength in her drawings. Her art became her voice, a way to express the complexities of her world. Similarly, Trevor Noah, through his memoir Born a Crime, uses humor and narrative to navigate the complexities of his life under apartheid in South Africa. Persepolis is a graphic novel, black and white, stark, powerful. It's not just a story, it's a visual journey through the tumultuous times of the Iranian Revolution. The monochrome palette strips away distractions, leaving the raw emotions and stark realities to shine through. In contrast, Born a Crime is a vibrant memoir filled with humor and wit, painting a vivid picture of Trevor's life and the absurdities of apartheid. It's like Marjane takes the words right out of your mouth and makes you feel it in your gut. Each panel is meticulously crafted to evoke a visceral response. You can almost hear the cries, feel the tension, and sense the fear that permeates the pages. Trevor, on the other hand, uses humor to draw you in, making you laugh while subtly exposing the harsh realities of his upbringing. The images in Persepolis are simple, almost childlike, but that's what makes them so impactful. The simplicity cuts through the noise, delivering the message with a clarity that's both disarming and profound. Similarly, Trevor's straightforward storytelling style in Born a Crime allows the reader to grasp the gravity of his experiences without being overwhelmed. Both Marjane and Trevor capture the confusion, the fear, the anger of a young person trying to make sense of a world turned upside down. Marjane's illustrations are a window into her soul, reflecting the inner turmoil and external chaos she experienced. Trevor's anecdotes reveal his resilience and determination to understand his place in a divided society. You see the world through Marjane's eyes, and it's impossible not to be moved by her story. Her perspective is both unique and universal, capturing the innocence of childhood and the harsh realities of growing up in a time of conflict. Trevor's perspective is equally compelling, offering a unique view of apartheid through the eyes of a mixed-race child. And then there's the humor, dark, satirical, biting. It's a coping mechanism, a way to deal with the absurdities and horrors of her reality. Marjane's humor is sharp, often cutting through the tension with a wit that's both refreshing and unsettling. Trevor's humor serves a similar purpose, using comedy to navigate and critique the absurdities of apartheid. It's the kind of humor that makes you laugh, and then immediately feel bad about it. It forces you to confront the uncomfortable truths hidden beneath the surface. This duality of laughter and guilt is a powerful tool, making the reader question their own perceptions and reactions. Both Marjane and Trevor masterfully use this technique to provoke thought and introspection. But that's the point, right? To challenge you, to make you think. Marjane's work is not just about telling her story, it's about provoking thought and encouraging introspection. It's about questioning the status quo and pushing the boundaries of what we consider acceptable. Trevor's memoir does the same, challenging readers to reflect on the injustices of apartheid and the lingering effects of systemic racism. To make you uncomfortable, to make you think about the things you'd rather ignore. Her art is a mirror, reflecting the darker aspects of society that we often choose to overlook. It's a call to action, urging us to confront these issues head-on, rather than turning a blind eye. Trevor's narrative similarly holds up a mirror to society, challenging us to confront uncomfortable truths about race and identity. Marjane's story is a testament to the power of images to challenge, to provoke, to inspire. Her work transcends the boundaries of traditional storytelling, using visuals to convey messages that words alone cannot. Trevor's memoir, with its blend of humor and poignant storytelling, similarly transcends traditional narratives, offering profound insights into the human condition. It's a reminder that even in the darkest of times, art can be a powerful form of resistance. Marjane's illustrations are not just drawings, they are acts of defiance, a way to resist oppression and fight for justice. Trevor's storytelling is also a form of resistance, using his platform to speak out against injustice and advocate for change. Both Marjane and Trevor show that even in the face of adversity, the human spirit can prevail through creativity and expression.